Hello, good morning, team. My name is Asim. Welcome back to Cloud Asim YouTube channel. And this will be our last episode of Jenkins series, and that will be covering about disaster recovery strategies. What we are going to cover for Jenkins. Okay. Before heading towards, we will try to understand what actually DR strategies stands for. Okay. So it stands for disaster recovery, which is essential in the terms of DevOps prospect and the software prospect to minimize our downtime in the failure, right, and to minimize our data loss as well. Before discussing about details in the disaster recovery concepts and the implementation, we will go and we will review what we have covered until date in the Jenkins series, and we will proceed this in the next. Okay, so up to now we have discussed about the day one, what is the essential, the conventional way which we were using before CI/CD was adapted by software teams, right? Software industry. Then we have discussed about the why Jenkins is family known used as a CI/CD tool. Then I've covered one project to show you that whatever we have learned to till date and how we are going to integrate in the Jenkins in order to create one CI and CD pipeline where we have tested continuous integration and continuous deployment as well. Okay, so in the organization it will be in the upscale way, in the large scale, and now we'll switch back over again to our topic and we will try to see this. Okay, so now in the disaster recovery, you can achieve it three ways. First, as I mentioned that you can create one snapshot of your EC2 instance. Okay. So when I speak about EC2 instance, you should know that I have one Jenkins server which I have completed the project. It contains of multiple configurations of Jenkins, like adding your servers, configuring your system, creating user management, right? As I just displayed to you everything, like adding email alerts, everything has been configured. Then I have written the Jenkins pipeline, and it contains multiple stages and the history of our pipelines. Okay, so now this is only the one project which I have in my Jenkins server. Assume that in the organization you will have n numbers of pipeline. Okay, so to set up in this Jenkins pipeline, which I have completed as a project, it took like around 1 to 2 hours, right? With debugging, it may take 3 hours, depending on the use cases and the troubleshooting. So assume that in the organization it will take n numbers of hours for one project, and if you have 10 projects for minimum, I'm saying 10 project, and you have different environments pipeline, right? Stage, dev, UAT, and production. Four minimum. 4 into 10, it will be 40, right? So 40 pipelines. If you lost the data for any cause, it may be any a failure of each instance, failure in the region of AWS, any XYZ reason. So it will take n number of days to recover this, right? To write everything from scratch and set up all your servers, credentials, and making sure everything is secured, and this prospect will take a lot of time and you'll be losing your time as well as your data. Okay, so these points come up with the solution of disaster recovery, which is an essential part of any organization. Okay, so at that point you need to make sure that always you should have the backup of your servers. Okay, backup of your whatever essential server you have, you should have their periodical backups. Okay, so how we can achieve that? That one step is that we can take the backup of complete of our volume. Okay, in the sense, let me give the overview. As I mentioned that I have this EC2 instance where I have attached one volume. Let me show you this volume, right? I can take this volume snapshot. Okay, so this is the first case. I can create a one snapshot of Jenkins server, and I can create a volume out of the snapshot and attach to one EC2 instance, new EC2 instance. Okay, with this way I can recover this one of the way. Okay, the second strategy, what you can do it, instead of taking the volume of complete snapshot volume, I can take complete backup of this EC2 instance. Okay, so I can take complete backup of this EC2 instance, complete backup of. Okay, so I can create one AMI out of this. So when I'm going to recover this Jenkins server, at the time I no need to pass the, I'm using Ubuntu operating system, and what storage you're using. Okay, this everything will be predefined as a template. Okay, so these two things we can achieve through EC2 instance UI prospect. Okay, now in the point of this, when you are going to backup, in that point, if you have your volume has different directories which are not essential to the Jenkins, that also will be snapshot. That means it would also create a snapshot containing that. Okay, so now in this pointer type, as I mentioned that with this snapshot, right, here I'm going to create one EC2 instance of my instance in my Jenkins server. There I'm going to create one AMI. With that AMI, I'm going to recover when I required in the disaster or in the drill, right, in the audits, right, DR audits, I'm going to recover that point. Okay, so in the point of that, as I mentioned that it can add additional data which we don't require, right? So in the point of time, what you can do it, we can go with the third strategy. Okay, third strategy includes that you can back up only the directory of Jenkins. Okay, so the Jenkins directory, you know very well where it is stored. Var, I'll show you that also. Var lib, right, ll over here, you're able to find Jenkins directory available over here. Where is Jenkins directory over here? Okay, instead of creating all the snapshot, just what I'm going to do it, I'm going to snapshot the data of Jenkins. Okay, so after this data, whenever I'm going to install Jenkins, in that Jenkins I'm going to restore this directory. Okay, so whatever the I have pipelines in this, right, whatever data I do have over here, that everything will be backup like secrets, tools, updates, content, user, workspace, right? Workspace content, what's it contains your pipeline status. Okay, so if you check over here, I have Maven Java, so it contains the project, all code, the files, stages, and everything what you have done it. Okay, simply it will represent my pipeline. So this pipeline, it will be representing everything. Okay, so this all I can backup only with one directory backup. Okay, so these three things we can achieve it. So at least you have the expertise of two, then third can be negotiated, but I will try to explain this three as well. Okay, so now the point of time, as I mentioned, that we'll go for first use case. Okay, so let's go to our EC2 instance I have over here. Then I'm going to go for the volume. Then I will open this volume in new app, right? And the volume ID is there. This volume ID, I'm going to create a snapshot of this. Okay, so simply going over here and the creating the volume, then I'm going to say sorry, this is an, so I'm going to set up 1 second, this is a volume, I'm going to check on this. Then in the action, it is giving you create snapshot. Okay, there is a two things you can achieve. You can do it manual snapshot, and you can make it automation with the cron jobs. Okay, so if I'm going to make lifecycle policy, then automatically without manual intervention, it will create one snapshot as per given schedule. Let's say on the Sunday, every Sunday of the week there will be one snapshot, so it will take that as well. Okay, this clear I have given presentation in my videos. Okay, so that video I will show you now. If you go to this video, I have already covered about the automated policy backup. Okay, where you can go and you can cross check as well. Okay, it will take some time, like 20 minutes something. And then you can go and you can cross check this part where I have mentioned that how you are going to make it automated backup based on the crop job from AWS as a policy. Okay, so now switching back, we will take it manual backups. Okay, so I'm clicking on this create snapshot, and it's asking me the description. I will say Jenkins server backup over here, right? Then afterwards I will say okay, fine, create the snapshot. So if you check over here stating that created snapshots, so where I do find the snapshot, I we are going to find in EC2, right? In the EC2, in the below, you're going to find one EBS. In that the volume will be there, then there is a snapshot. If you click on the snapshot, you're able to find one snapshot has been generated, right? The status in the pending, it will take like 5 to 10 minutes. Within 5 to 10 minutes, you're able to find this is successfully will be completed. Okay, so this part is in progress, we will keep it. Okay, now second part, let me go over here to the EC2 instance and let me go to details. What we need to do it, we need to check on this. Then you need to go for action. In the action, you'll be finding instance setting. Then the remaining in the below, you're going to find image and templates, because I'm going to create the image of my full EC2 instance. Okay, so if you have a Jenkins server which is dedicated only for your virtual EC2 machine for Jenkins, and you have multiple projects handling by Jenkins, at this point of time you're going to create it image. Okay, so this create image, and then I'll give it as Jenkins server image. Okay, you can give it anything list. Okay, now if you check over here, it's stating that it's taking the snapshot of EC2 instance, then it's going to take complete EC image and the snapshot with the same tag. I'm going to say it. Okay, so take the image of my EC2 instance as well as a snapshot of hard drive. Okay, two things I have already explained. The two things are in progress. The first thing is volume, so volume snapshot, then images AMI. If I'm going to check on this image AMI, you're able to find one just I'm given Jenkins server. There is saying that is a pending. So it's the point of time. It will take some time and it will restart again. I mean, it will completely available and it is available only to my account. Okay, I'm the owner of this. Okay, it's fine. So it will take like 5 to 10 minutes again. At the point we can do this as well. Okay, so these two will be progressively taking backups. Meanwhile, what we will do, it will go and we will review this third step. Okay, in the third step, what we will do is simply, as I mentioned, that I'm going to check create one shell script using this. Okay, before that I need one S3 bucket, so I'm going to give it S3 bucket like cloud rsim Jenkins backup bucket. So let me go over here in the search. I'm going to find as S3 because I'm going to push this backup into the S3 bucket. Okay, so that I can store this directory progressively. Okay, so here if you check over here, I don't have any bucket, so I'm clicking on this bucket. Then afterward, general purpose, I'm saying general purpose, everything is fine. uh Disable, that's fine. Public access, I say don't keep it because it's much sensitive data of Jenkins, so I don't want public access. Versioning, I can enable. If I want, I can disable versioning in the sense, when I'm making for this Sunday first backup, second the tomorrow Monday is a second backup. At that point there will be backup version will be available, 1 2 3 4, so I can reinstate any version at the point of time. Okay, so let me just create this bucket. Okay, so this bucket is created, right? So I should have the access of this EC2 instance from the sorry, I should have the access of that S3 bucket with my EC2 instance, right? For that we can handle that with the what, with the role based access. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one role and I'm going to give the top of what, my EC2 instance. Okay, so if you check over here, so of this EC2 instance I will give you one role attached with the policy of S3 bucket. Then this EC2 instance will have access and you can access you can create the backup with the shell script and push from EC2 instance to my bucket this backup. Okay, so in the point what this bucket is there, and here I'm going to search for role, right? So it will be handled by what, IAM manager. Okay, identity and access management. Okay, so this is a feature provided by AWS with role based access, where I can give any user any role, I can give the access over there. Okay, so here let me say I'll creating one role, EC2 role, and EC2 role I'll give it as Jenkins backup. Okay, just let me copy this. Then I'm going to click on this create role. Then it's saying that for which, I'm saying for EC2 instance, Lambda functions, AWS Federal. Okay, that's fine. Other performance. Okay, use case, I need to attach this, so I'm going to go with EC2 instance. Okay, then afterwards next, then he's asking that what kind of role I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it S3 full access. Okay, S3 full access. Next, the role name I'm going to give it as Jenkins backup role, right? Role name, and I'm going to create this role now. So the role consists of what? As I mentioned that it has a role. it has attached, it has a permission of S3 bucket full access, right? So I can with this using this role, I can upload anything to my S3 bucket and I can fetch everything to that S3 bucket, okay, from the S3 bucket. So in this case, I'm going to go for my EC2 instance. In the EC2 instance, you're going to just a second, EC2 instance. So So I'm going to apply on this EC2 instance my role which I have created now. So I need to go for the action, then I need to go for security, then it's saying the modified IAM role. So here drop down you're able to find different roles available in your account. So currently what I made it, I created Jenkins backup role. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say it update roles. Okay. So that means this EC2 instance has been attached with IAM roles. Okay. In case of you want to go with different way, then what you can do it, you can just create a user. With that user you can attach to EC2 instance, right? With that EC2 instance user, giving AWS configure, right? AWS configure, you can pass credentials, secret key, secret access key. With that also you can handle it, okay? But that is not the best practice. In the organization you'll be handling everything with the role strategies, okay? So the pointed time now, what we'll do in, we will just give sudo su. Then I'm going to create this one file as I have over here, right? So the name of this file will be, let's say, let's give it as Jenkins backup dot sh. Okay, simple. So the prompt, we are using nano editor in order to write new shell script. So in the shell script I have given over here, I'm going to copy. First I'm defining that I'm going to use bash scripting, so bash shell, okay, bash shell. After that I'm saying that take the timestamp in the backup directory. Which is the backup directory? War lib Jenkins. Just I have given demo to you, right? So I want to copy the Jenkins directory. In the Jenkins directory I will be having everything related to Jenkins, right? So that means I'll be having everything related to this Jenkins server. You got it my point? Then afterward it's saying that please define which bucket you are using, right? So in this point of time I'm saying that okay, I'm going to use this bucket, right? So let me check what bucket I have created. So it's a bucket of Cloud Awesome Jenkins backup bucket, right? So let me review this. Yes, that's the same. This bucket exists, right? Prerequisite that the bucket name which you are giving, that should be exist. So that exists in my AWS account, so I don't have any issue. Okay, so after that what I'm going to do, I'm going to temporarily I'm going to create the backup of var lib Jenkins. Okay, let me give it duplicate and I will show you this as well. Sudo su cd var lib. Okay, so if you ll over here, I'm speaking about this part. Okay, so I'm speaking about this part. So I'm taking the backup of this, but in the form of zip file, that means tar file. Okay, so if you check over here, it's saying that I'm going to give it tar.gc. That will compress and it will minimize your storage space. Okay, so it will create that here with, and it will, what will do, it will create this one, and the directory name as we are passing in the variable, right? This is a variable I have defined above, two variables, that is backup directory and S3 bucket. Okay, S3 bucket name here. Then afterwards I'm uploading this file which I have done above to my bucket which Cloud Awesome Jenkins backup, okay, space bucket, and that I passed with the variable, okay, S3 bucket. So dollar $s3 bucket. Then afterwards whichever backup I was created before, right, this one temporary one, that I am going to delete it. Okay, so this I'm using control X Y exit. Okay, that means I'm saving it. Now if you ll over here, you're going to find one Jenkins Jenkins underscore backup dot sh file is available, but that is not in green color. That means that does not have executable permission. So this shell script cannot be executed, that does not have any executable permission. So you can find over here also the X is missing over here. So in order to give that, I need to give it shmod X and the file name Jenkins, and I'm going to give it full name .sh. So if you ll over here now, you're able to find that this turned into green color. So if you check over here, it's stating that Jenkins, that is green in color, right? So there is a pre-request in order to execute, in order to communicate our EC2 instance with our S3 bucket, that AWS CLI should be available. So AWS CLI, if I print, I will be not finding anything. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to install AWS CLI as a prerequisite. For that, I'm going to go for Java Maven app, right? In the Java Maven app, you're going to find one shell script with the name of what, AWS CLI. Okay, I'm going to copy the shell script and I'm going to the terminal, and I'm going to create one more AWS CLI dot sh nano, and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, and I will explain that. Simply what I'm going to do, I'm going to fetch curl the AWS Linux version of AWS CLI, right? Then I'm using, if I don't have, install unzip, because this is in the zip format. Then after I'm installing unzip tool, then I'm unzipping the version of this Linux one, AWS CLI. Then I'm using dot, that means to run this shell script, that is in AWS install directory, okay, folder. Then after, I'm printing AWS -f1 version, okay. Y hit enter. Now if you check over here one more time, you're able to find I don't have any executable permission. So I'm going to give it this again, X, then I'm going to give it AWS CLI, hit enter. Now if you LL, you're able to find that you receive the shell script in the green color. So now I will install this AWS CLI. I will execute that. So it started fetching, then started unzipping, then unzip started, then I had it installed AWS CLI now. Okay. So it is installing all dependencies of AWS. Then later on it's printing me the version of 2.7.27.23. Okay, that is used for a Python language. Okay, so now that's fine. So the prerequisite of, let me clear the prerequisite of installing AWS CLI, that it has been completed. Now if I LL over here, I have what, the file name with the name of Jenkins backup.sh. Now I will try to execute this and we will see the output of this one. So AWS, so removing tar, okay, that's fine. From member names, that's fine. See, it has started creating the tar-zip file. Then afterward, this was copied to where it's saying, see, temporary file was created and temporary file stored to where S3 bucket with the name of Cloud Asim Jenkins bucket, and the data is added on this date I have done with the name of this. Now this is CLI part. Now what I need to do it, I need to go and I need to confirm in my AWS S3 bucket that does the data has come over here anywhere. So what I can do it, I can go to this S3 bucket and I'm going to refresh over here. You're able to find one this GZ file is created, right? So you got my point. So this file is available. Now how I'm going to backup in case of disaster? So let me say that I'll go over here for any one reason. I'm saying that, okay, let me just give the password, sign in. Let's test the flow of the backup as well. So now if you remember that, all right, I have one project with the name. By any means that remember that this project has been deleted. Okay. So let me delete this project now. You're able to find this project does not exist now in my Jenkins server, but this was done by accidentally one of the use case. Okay, okay, one of the use case. It can be your EC2 instance has been that failure of in the region of AWS is Jenkins server where we have created. This is a second use case. There be any consequences, right, of regional issues? There are the different use case. Then you're going for the multiple Jenkins server setup. Okay, so creating one more setup in a different region, there can be different use case, this also can be handled. Now my point is that I need to back up this. Okay, I need to back up my my Jenkins project. Okay, that use case how we are going to handle. I'll go over here, right? Then afterwards what I'm going to do it, I have the backup of my version available in my S3 bucket that contains the project. Because before this disaster deletion of my project, before that the backup was created, so I know that I need to do the backup of this date. Okay, so what I need to do it, I need to go over here, then I'm going to go again for my backup restore point. So as I mentioned, I have given the command over here, right? But I need the UARN of my bucket. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for the bucket. Then in the bucket, I'm going to click over here and you're going to find the URL of this bucket. Okay. So URL bucket is what? S3 Cloud Awesome Jenkins backup and the backup name TGRZ. Okay. So for that use case, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to update this. Okay. So update over here from this, just I'm going to update. Okay, so updated, then I'm going to copy this command. Okay, then afterwards I'm going to go over cd var lib, right, lib. Then afterwards I'm going to execute this over here. If you check over here, the command itself is printing of dot in the end. Okay, so if you check over here is a dot, that means it's printing that copy that existing S3 bucket file into my current directory. What is your current directory? The current directory is varlib jenkins. So I'm going to print hit enter. So you're able to find that whatever the data is available in my S3 bucket, that is visible, that has been restored to my Jenkins server. If I LL over here, I'm able to find one with the name of Jenkins backup, what this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the point of restoration of from this is completed. Okay. And the next point, what I need to do it, I need to restore this. Before restoring it, I'm going to make sure that my Jenkins server should be stopped. Okay. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to stop my Jenkins server. So if I'm going to see the status of Jenkins server, it should print me in the stop stage. Okay. So let me status Jenkins. Okay. Stating that Jenkins stopped. Okay, so my point is done now. So if you check over here, we have restored our backup file from Jenkins, right? Sorry, from the S3 bucket. So we have everything in the tar format. That means GZ zip format. Okay, so you can call it as zip as well, for example. Okay, so the point is that I have existing Jenkins data, and before that I have the backup data. So the best practice is that what we will do it, we will create this Jenkins data which I have, right? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to uh, just give it as Jenkins, right? And I'm going to move with the name of Jenkins slash back backup, right? And I will hit enter. So if I LL over here, you're able to find that Jenkins has been gone, Jenkins directory. Okay. The reason for that is that in case of this step failure, I will revert back everything to Jenkins directory and I will restart the Jenkins server. Okay. This is also the best practice. You can follow it up. Okay. So another point of time, what I'm going to do, I have this directory which I need to unstar or unzip, you can say it at. Okay. So what we have done, we have backuped our Jenkins existing directory with the name of Jenkins backups. In the point of restoring this tar.gz file fails, we can just rename with the Jenkins, then we can restore the existing version which I have just showed to you, right? In case of I'm failing to backup it. Okay, this is another backup strategy which I have applied. Now what we will do it, we will try to restore this zip file what we have just fetched from S3 bucket, right? Basically is a tar file. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to copy the command over here within the same command, right? Sudo tar, right? Let me give the command over here, paste it, and what I'm going to say that please untar this file. Okay, the Jenkins name, that the file name I have passed it, the file name you need to check it out over here, then the same name you need to give it over here. Then afterward I'm using C flag and I'm going to say that, okay, just a second, I need to remove this. I'm going to say that this need to be copied into the current directory. So then after that, when I'm going to unzip that, that's come with the name of Jenkins, because I have backup with the Jenkins, right? So if you check over above here, you're not finding any only Jenkins directory. Okay. So as I'm going to hit enter, I'm going to find that this started backupping up. Okay. So you have seen that resources has been spiked. So if I'm going to LL over here, you're going to find that now one Jenkins directory is created. So it's created within seconds. So let's go into the Jenkins directory, and if you LL over here, let me go to the workspace and I will try to see that does our Jenkins see our pipeline has been restored. This is CLI, right? So now the point is that I don't have my Jenkins server up and running, right? So I have before backup or restoration, what I've done, I've stopped this intentionally. So I'm going to restart this Jenkins server. Then I'm going to access the Jenkins server UI. Then we will try to find it that this I'm able to see on my the Jenkins dashboard. Okay. So the Jenkins has been restarted. So let me go over restarted. Let me go to my Jenkins server and refresh over here. Now I don't have any existing, right? So if I'm going to refresh over, you're going to find that one project which I have backupped, which I have deleted intentionally, that has been restored. Okay. So you're going to find and you're going to go everything. But the point you need to remember that you need to use the same credentials which you have set before for your Jenkins server. Okay. So when you're going to back up the Jenkins credentials also being copied. Okay. So you cannot rename or you cannot regenerate the new password. So you should make sure that you store your credential in the safe way. Okay. So that you can use it in the disaster or backup up strategy, whichever three strategies we are good we have committed to use in the same three use cases. You need to give the existing password which you have set for your Jenkins server. Okay. So you should remember that. Now what we have done, we have cross checked with the third option. We have already show you how you can backup and restore this point. The first and second option, like creating EBS volume and AMI, that we can just go and cross check with our AWS account. So if I'm going for AWS account, then if I'm going for which one, then I'm going to go for snapshot. You're able to find that snapshot has been created successfully, right? You're able to find that creation. See, this is snapshot only. This is image snapshot. Okay. So when you take the image of any EC2 instance, image will be taken with the same way. One snapshot of your hard drive, that is your volume, also will be taken. So this was taken with the 10 GB. And if I'm going to check for AMI, you're able to find that AMI also has been created. So in the point of time, I can restore this AMI. Just click on this AMI and launch instance for AMI. Then I can create same EC2 instance, see, with the same volume attached. So all everything will be restored. Okay. Just you need to give the Jenkins server existing password which you have used it. Okay. So this with this AMI within second you can restore your Jenkins server, as well as from your hard wall snapshots, right? And the snapshot, I can click on this, then I can click on this and I can say that create snapshot from this, create volume from this snapshot. Okay. Volume will be created. That volume I can attach to any EC2 instance. Okay. I can revoke existing EC2 instance volume. I can attach this so that I whatever the backup is consist in this volume snapshot, that will be restored. And the same procedure you're going to find that existing project will be available. Okay. These 3 points we have cross checked, and the backup is a main part. Disaster recovery is a main part of any organization. So please don't forget that this is a hands-on. You should have the knowledge about that. So please, if you have not subscribed to our channel and if you have not been updated to our playlist on the channel, please do subscribe and share with your friends so that they have hands-on knowledge of all about the Jenkins prospect. Okay. Thank you guys for your time, and I have very lovely time covering this series. And please comment in the next session and let me know that which series I should cover in the next part. Okay. Thank you very much, team.